Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening and welcome to the National News broadcast, bringing to you live from the National News Studios here at Rupavahini. We are ready to bring you the top stories here at home and around the world. I'm Charita Vinithararachi.
And I'm Sharma Screeners. First, it's a look at the day's headlines.
The President says the country's economy could be restored only through new economic reforms. The price of imported milk powder is to come down after midnight tonight. A midday meal for school children from grade 1 to grade 5. Former President Maithripala Sirisena is to appear before the CID tomorrow. Russia launches heavy air attacks on Ukraine. Dhananjay and Kamindhu have renewed Test cricket history.
On to those and other stories in detail now, and starting off with the top story. Social religious programs have been organized in the Buddhist temples and centers island-wide to mark the Madin Full Moon Poya Day today. According to the history of Buddha Sasana, after attaining Buddhahood, Gautama Buddha visited his native kingdom Kapilavastu city accompanied by 20,000 Buddhist monks on a Madin Poya Day. After listening to Buddha's sermon, father of Prince Siddhartha, King Suddhodana, attained Sovan on this Poya Day. According to Buddha Sasana, Gautama Buddha has shown his spiritual powers emitting fire and water from his body simultaneously. In order to break down the superiority complex, many religious programs based on Dana, Shila, Bhavana have been conducted in Biharis throughout the island in commemoration of the historical significance of the day. Large number of devotees were engaged in silk campaigns and in other forms of religious observances. The Madin Poya Day Dhamma sermon of the Dharma Deepani Dhamma preaching ceremony was held at the temple trees today under the patronage of Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena and through participation of a large number of devotees. Chief Sanganayaka of Bentara Walala Vitakorale in Kotte Sri Kalyani Samagri Dhamma Mahasangha Sabha of the Siam Mahanikaya Venerable Malayagoda Nandathera has delivered the Dhamma sermon. The Monisiripa Veneration Poya Day live program was telecast on the 45th occasion by the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. The program transmitted from the sacred Sripada Sthane included Buddha Puja, sermons and discussions and community hospital services.
The 75th birthday of President Ranil Wickremesinghe falls today. This is a short summary of his social and political career. Ranil Wickremesinghe had his preliminary education at the Colombo Royal College and graduated at the Law Faculty of Colombo University. He entered into politics in 1977, winning the Birgama electorate and entered into Parliament. He was appointed as the Minister of Youth Affairs and Employment of the then government at the age of 28 years and became the youngest cabinet minister. Holding the portfolio, he introduced the new education reforms and a policy of industries to the country. Ranil Wickremesinghe became the leader of the UMP in 1994. Winning the general election in 2001, he became the 17th Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. Later, he became the opposition leader in the year 1994 and 2004. He again became the Prime Minister in 2015 under the presidency of Maithripala Sirisena. Ranil Wickremesinghe has been committed to safeguard parliamentary democracy for years. His service has also been felicitated internationally for his foreign policies. He was elected as Prime Minister last year in the midst of the severe economic crisis and anarchy situation in the country. His service to strengthen the value of rupee and increase foreign reserves has also been commended by both local and international economic analysts. The people have entrusted upon President Ranil Wickremesinghe the responsibility of restoring the economy at a time when the dollar reserves were speedily depleting. President Wickremesinghe had rendered any yeoman service in reconstructing the economy through stabilization of the rupee value and strengthening of foreign reserves. Ranil Wickremesinghe assumed duties in the post of presidency in the year 2022 when Sri Lanka faced with a massive economic crisis. The president, in his quest to rescue the country from the crisis, had immediately commenced discussion with the international financial institutions, including the IMF, utilizing his political maturity and experiences. As a result of these initiatives, Sri Lanka was able to receive necessary financial facilities at the most appropriate moment. The role played by President Ranil Wickremesinghe to rescue the people of Sri Lanka from a debt-ridden dark future would become a significant chapter in the history of the country.
විපත්තියට ඇතුළත් වූ රටක්. දරුණු ආර්ථිකයේ අර්බුද එක පැත්තේ තවත් පැත්තකින්. නමුත් රට වෙනුවෙන් මේ අසීරු අභියෝගය බාර ගැනීමට මම තීරණය කරා.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe says restoring of the economy of the country is possible only through new economic reforms. He was expressing his opinions at a program in Polonnaruwa yesterday. President Ranil Wickremesinghe made these remarks while participating in a friendly discussion organized by the United Youth Union on the theme Future of Our Youth. The event took place yesterday in Polonnaruwa. President Ranil Wickremesinghe further said that concluding negotiations with the IMF, they are now poised to engage with the countries from which they had borrowed, seeking further assistance to stabilize. Following these discussions, the country's development initiatives will receive renewed support from these nations. However, he added that it is crucial to acknowledge that this alone does not address all challenges. Presently operating as an import-dependent economy, imports surpass exports annually, necessities borrowing to bridge this gap. Without rectifying the structural imbalance, Sri Lankan economic risk collapse again with the next decade. Urgent economic restructuring is imperative, transforming from an import-dependent to an economy. This requires comprehensive economic development across urban and rural areas alike, coupled with stringent budgetary controls. By implementing these governmental reforms, they can envisage a shift to an export-oriented economy by 2035, paving the way for sustained economic growth thereafter. The President said that he would be undertaking all these endeavours for the betterment of the future. He also said that it should be emphasized that these efforts are ultimately for the benefit and prosperity of the children of the country. The youth attending the event posed questions to the President, to which he responded candidly. In answering a question from a youth representative as to whether the lands under the jurisdiction of the Wildlife Department could be utilized for paddy cultivation in the Lankapura Grama Seva division, the President said as per the 1985 map, there are lands designated under the purview of the Department of Wildlife as well as land allotted to villagers. The President has responded to another query raised by a youth regarding request to allocate land in Valikanda and Madruwe for time to engage in cultivation utilizing modern technology as a part of the government's agricultural modernization project. The President said in 1977 the Valikanda area was predominantly covered by dense forests. Today Valikanda and Madruwe have evolved into highly conductive provinces for agriculture. They have devised plans to introduce modern agricultural practices to the villages under the agricultural modernization project. Additionally, they have initiated a program to distribute free land deeds to the residents with the aim of completing it within 2 months, granting legal and right to 2 million people. A law student has focused attention on the President regarding 1989 Janatha Vimukti Peramuna killing 6 members of his family in a single day in 1989 and looting property worth over 8 million rupees. He further said that their bodies were not even allowed to be buried in the cemetery and they still live in fear due to the remains of JVP. He further said that as a member of the affected family, he had been unfairly deprived of his shop in the main street owned by the Hingurakoda Provincial Council as an act of political revenge. The President, in his reply, has requested the affected youth to go to a JVP meeting and fearlessly point out these atrocities committed against him and his family. Another youth has pointed out to the President that questions of rescuing the country should have to be put forward only to those who had mediated to resolve the crisis. The President's response was that it would take 6 to 7 years to restructure the education system. He further said that the measures would be implemented within 5 years commencing from the year 2025. The President further said that nobody would be allowed to breach law and order.
Minister Dr. Bandalu Gunawardena has presided over several meritorious programs at the sacred site of Galvihare in Polonnaruwa this morning. The series of pincomers have been organized in connection with the extending of blessings of President Ranil Wickremesinghe on his birthday and also in connection with the commencement of the Polonnaruwa district program of the Rural Road Reconstruction Program. Accordingly, several religious observances, including morning milk rice offerings, were conducted. The religious performances were conducted by the Mahasangha headed by the caretaker of the Galvihare Polonnaruwa, the Venerable Kandaketiye Attadasi Thera. A group including State Ministers Siripala Gamlat and Sivanesature Chandrakantan have also participated in the event. A Dhamma sermon was also conducted extending blessings to the President on his birthday and also to extend best wishes for the success of the President's program to rebuild the country today. The organised by the Presidential Security Division was held at the lecture hall of the Presidential Security Division. The sermon was delivered by Venerable Dr. Buralle Atulathero. Senior Superintendent of the Police of the Presidential Security Division, M.N. Jamaldeen, and other police officials were also present at this occasion. Another program to extend best wishes on the President was held at the Gangarama Vihara in Hunupitiya, Colombo today on the instructions of the Venerable Dr. Kirindi Assaji Thero of the Gangarama Vihara. General Secretary of the United National Party, Palitharange Bandara, Director General of the Presidential Trade Union, Saman Ratnapriya, and others have also joined the ceremony.
Minister of Trade Nalin Fernando says it has been decided to reduce the price of imported milk powder with effect from midnight tonight. Accordingly, the price of a kilo of an imported milk powder will be reduced by 150 rupees. Member of the Milk Powder Importers Association Lakshman Veerasurya said that value of a dollar has gone down to 302 rupees from 330 rupees. He further said that the aim of the minister was to hand over the benefit of the consumer without delay. As a result, the price of 1 kilogram of packet of milk powder will go down at least by 150 rupees. Trade Minister Nalin Fernando has responded to a query as to whether the prices of essential items would go down further. The minister said by now they are maintaining a positive growth rate in the economy. A somewhat decline in the prices of imported items has been witnessed last week. He further said that the government would mediate to look into the possibility in future regarding prices in the market by next week. The minister has also expressed opinions regarding increase in the prices of rice. The minister said that stern legal actions will be implemented against large-scale mill owners who fail to turn into rice large quantities of paddy in their possession.
The Criminal Investigation Department is to convene former President Maithripala Sirisena at the department for an investigation regarding a statement made by him on the Easter attack. Police media spokesman and DIG Nihal Thalduve says the former president has been informed to be present at the CID tomorrow. Former President Maithripala Sirisena was reported to have told media recently in Askiria that he is aware of who had committed the Easter attack and he was prepared to reveal the facts if a request or an order is made from the judiciary to do so. His statement has aroused intense controversy among numerous groups. As a result, the Minister of Public Security, Tiran Alas, has instructed the IGP to conduct an investigation immediately regarding the matter. IGP Deshabandu Thenakon said that he has informed the former president that orders have been given to the DIG in charge of the CID to conduct an investigation regarding the issue. He also said that the former president has responded to the request to record a statement in this connection. He also said that accordingly, Maithripala Sirisena will appear before the CID within the next 48 hours to give a statement. A Finnish garment store in Välivatta was severely damaged in a fire that has erupted this afternoon. The Colombo Fire Brigade unit says 10 fire extinguishing trucks have been deployed to douse the flames. The Colombo Fire Services Department, the police, the residents have exerted strenuous efforts to control the situation. Heavy traffic congestion was seen in Gaul Road at this time.
The Minister of Education says a mid-day meal program for school children from grade 1 to grade 5 will commence in all schools with effect from tomorrow. Minister Dr. Susil Premajand says that the government spends 16.6 billion rupees in this regard. Minister Susil Premajand said that midday meal program will commence tomorrow. Earlier, the program was restricted to 1.8 billion students. However, the upcoming program will provide midday meals for 1.7 million school children at a cost of 16.6 billion rupees. Under the new program, all schools having less than 100 students from grade 1 to grade 5 and students in other grades will also be included. The shortfall in local funds would be fulfilled through financial assistance from sources.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that Minister Dr. Bandulu Gunawardena has presided over the ceremony held in connection with the reconstruction of the road leading to the Alahara Truck number 34 village in Polonnaruwa. Stretch of the road spanning a distance of 2 kilometers starting from the Paddy Marketing Board storage in Diabadua to the Track Village 4 in Alahara Division Secretariat Division is to be reconstructed under the program. The cost of the project is 49.9 million rupees. Work is to be completed within 3 months. State Minister Siripala Gamlat and Civil Minister Thurai Chandrakanthan have also attended the event. Minister Dr. Bandulu Gunawardena said that the IMF representatives after the discussion said that Sri Lanka is treading on a difficult path. He also said that they are commencing the development process at this crucial time. The minister added that only those who govern the country know how the country should be administered and others have no knowledge about it.
And meanwhile, President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that an extensive dialogue is needed for a new transformation in the local health services. The President has emphasized this fact during a meeting held yesterday with the Government Medical Officers Association. The GMOA has hosted a one-day workshop on leadership and skills development yesterday at the Sudu Aralia Hotel in Polonnaruwa. While attending a nearby official event, the President received an urgent invitation from the association and briefly visited the workshop venue. In response to the invitation, the President promptly joined the members of the Government Medical Officers Association for a friendly discussion. Addressing members of the GMOA, President Ranil Wickremesinghe delved into the historical backdrop of the country's free healthcare system, tracing its origin to colonial and post-colonial eras. Expressing concerns over its compatibility with the advancing medical technology and evolving needs, he stressed the imperative of strategic foresight, suggesting that present discussions would significantly shape the healthcare landscape for the next decade and beyond. He underscored the nexus between economic prosperity and the allocation of resources to pivotal sectors such as education, healthcare and housing. Despite the framework of an open market economy, the President identified healthcare as a paramount priority, particularly in light of the challenges posed by the technological advancement.
More local news in brief. Measures have been taken to rest with the people the 3-story building complex at Samantarai Base Hospital within 2 months. A sum of 850 million rupees has been spent on the project. Health Secretary and consulting physician Dr. Palitha Mahipala and a group have been inspected construction at the site yesterday. The Valley Madavatta choir build bridge in Daragala was vested with the people after reconstruction yesterday. Nimal Siripala de Silva Foundation has provided 1.1 million rupees to repair the structure. The bridge has been reconstructed through the labours of Ports Authority, utilising the discarded steel cables iron of the authority. Funeral of the late retired Air Commodore Ananda Samarakon is scheduled to be conducted at Mount Lavania General Cemetery tomorrow. The late official had acted as a competent authority of the National Television Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation and the Independent Television Network. That's a look at local news. Stay with us. Foreign news is coming up next. Let me take a look at foreign news now. Russia struck critical infrastructure in Ukraine's western region of Lviv with missiles early today in a major airstrike. Moscow launched 57 missiles and drones in the attack that also targeted the capital of Kyiv 2 days after the largest aerial bombardment of Ukraine's energy system in more than 2 years of full-scale war. Ukrainian officials said their defenses had shot down 18 Russian missiles and 25 drones, causing only minor damage. Around 20 Russian missiles and 7 drones had targeted a critical infrastructure in the western region of Lviv. One of the cruise missiles entered the airspace of neighboring Poland, a NATO member, the air forces announced. Moscow had been pounding Ukraine for days in attacks portrayed by Moscow as revenge for Ukrainian attacks that were conducted during Russia's presidential election. Russians gathered outside the Crocus City Hall in Moscow's suburbs, laying flowers, candles and toys in memory of the victims of the tragedy. The terrorist attack on Friday night has claimed more than 140 lives. Russian President Vladimir Putin declared March 24th a day of national mourning in Russia for those killed in the terrorist attack. Many people came early this morning to mourn their fallen friends and express their grief.
Thousands of Israelis took the streets in Tel Aviv yesterday, urging the government to reach a ceasefire with the Palestinian militant group Hamas in the Gaza Strip and bring back Israeli hostages. The Israeli army has planned to conduct a ground operation in Rafah, Gaza's southernmost town, to eliminate Hamas and rescue Israeli hostages. The impending invasion has deeply concerned the international community. Several countries have spoken against issuing a warning of a humanitarian catastrophe in the coastal enclave. The Israeli government's tough stance is also facing growing opposition at home, with a new round of ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas underway in Qatar's Doha. Israeli people marched in Tel Aviv to demand the government expedite the negotiation process for an early release of hostages in Gaza. The demonstrations, including the hostages' families and retired servicemen, observed a moment of silence for those killed in the conflict, with some blocking up roads in the city and lighting up fires. More than 200 people in Israel were taken hostages in October last year when Hamas launched a surprise attack on southern Israel that killed about 1,200 people.
Over 7 million voters will cast their ballots at polling stations across Senegal for the first round of presidential election today. 19 candidates are vying for the top position of president to replace Macky Sall, whose tenure ends on a. After the official close of the campaigns on Friday, the streets of capital city were seen to be near empty early yesterday. After months of social and political instability linked to the election, security has been beefed up right across the country. The electoral authorities have completed a final series of checks on the polling stations. Senegalese diaspora will cast their ballots from 50 countries across the world. Under the country's electoral system, a candidate needs to secure more than 50% of the vote to avoid runoff.
A large number of spectators in Islamabad gathered to witness the grandeur of the parade ceremony held to commemorate the 84th Pakistan Day. The major celebration event was attended by Pakistani President Asif Ali Zardari, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Chief of Armed Forces. Pakistan Day commemorates the historical Lahore dating in the independence of Pakistan in 1947. In the parade ceremony, contingents of Pakistani Army, Navy, Air Force and Special Services Group, Frontier Corps and Scouts marched past dais presenting salutes to the country's civil and military leadership as well as the state guests. Mechanized columns including tanks, armored personnel carriers, rocket launchers, air defense systems, guns and missiles were also showcased on this occasion.
Kazakhstan celebrated its traditional Nowruz festival recently with festivities featuring cultural performances, parades and traditional cultural displays. The festival is an important holiday for Kazakhs, marking the first day of spring and celebrated on the day of the astronomical vernal equinox. A part of Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Iran and some parts of northwest China also observe this festival. During Nowruz festival, Kazakh families gather together wearing traditional holiday attire and enjoying bausak, a traditional Kazakh food embodying notions of health, unity and success. A grand cultural performance was held recently in Almaty, the largest city. President Kassym-Jomart attended the event and conveyed festive greetings to the nation.
Prima Kottumi, Fantamai.
And on to sports news now. Today was the third day of the first match of the current Test match series between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh.
The Bangladesh team was struggling at 47 runs for the loss of 5 wickets in their second innings at the stumps today. The Bangladesh team needs a further 464 runs for the victory. In the match being played in Sylhet, the Sri Lanka team were all out for 280 runs in their first innings. The Bangladesh team first innings scored was restricted to 188 runs. When play resumed today, the Sri Lanka team has scored 119 runs for the loss of 5 wickets in their second innings. However, Dhananjay de Silva's 12th Test century and 108 runs has immensely contributed to the Sri Lankan team, registering score of 418 runs. Kamidu Mendes has also recorded 164 runs. A special feature has been that both players recording centuries in the first innings as well. The Bangladesh team's second innings was opened by Mahamadul Hasan Joy and Sakir Hassan. However, the partnership ended with the score was at 6. Vishwa Fernando took 3 wickets for Sri Lanka and Kasun Prajita and Lahiru Kumaro also took 1 wicket each.
Also played his strokes right on. Started off with a good looking boundary, but then played away from his body and throw away.
Bangladesh served the first over. Joy, LBW, thumb in front.
Brilliantly. How they defend Deepu with the next man to luck as well. Struck a few boundaries and then the outside edge, Lahiru Kumar Fernando. And that was probably the worst shot of the day from Bangladesh.
Stella Set Yogurt.
That's it. That's a look at Rupavahini News for tonight.
Do it just tomorrow at the very same time. I'm Charita, signing off. Stay safe.
Take care.